Transform text in Photoshop. Here's an image I've opened in Photoshop to use as a background for my effect. The first thing we need to do is add some text. And if we look in the Layers panel, we see that I've also added some text above the image. I'll turn it on by clicking the Type Layers visibility icon. I'm using a font called Orbitron Bold that I downloaded from dafontfree.net. To get to it, I'll go up to the Edit menu in the menu bar and I'll choose Transform. This is where we find all of Photoshop's various transformation commands. Take note, while we can access things like Scale, Rotate, Skew, and even Warp, the two most interesting options Distort and Perspective are grayed out. The reason is that Photoshop won't allow us to use Distort or Perspective with a type layer. Before we can add a 3D perspective to the text, first we need to convert the type layer. One thing we could do is rasterize the text, which means converting the type into pixels. And we could do that in the Layers panel by right-clicking directly on the type layer, and then choose Rasterize Type from the menu. Another option found under the same menu is Convert to Shape. The benefit that a shape has over pixels is that we can transform a shape as much as we want without any loss in quality. But we'd still have a problem because we'd still lose the ability to edit our text. Third option is to convert our text into a smart object, by choosing Convert to Smart Object from the menu. Photoshop converts the type layer into a smart object, and we know that by the smart object icon in the lower right of the thumbnail. Smart objects are non-destructive, so we can transform them as much as we want without any loss in quality. But before we learn how to do that, let's look at how to use the Distort and Perspective commands with our smart object. Got to the Edit menu and I'll again choose Transform. And this time, all of the transform options, including Distort and Perspective, are available. The Distort command lets us click and drag any of the corner handles around the text independently of each other. We can drag them in any direction to distort the text into different shapes. Undo the Distort command without making any changes, by pressing the Ctrl+Z key several times on the keyboard. And now it's back to the original shape of the text. What we will do is similar to the scrolling text we see at the beginning of the movie Star Wars, titling back towards the horizon. We could do that with the Distort command, but the Perspective command will make it easier. To select it, go back up to the Edit menu, choose Transform, and then choose Perspective. The difference between Distort and Perspective is that, in Distort mode, we can drag the corner handles in any direction, and we can drag them separately from each other. In Perspective mode, we still drag the corner handles, but we can only drag them up and down, or left and right, and the handle in the opposite corner will move along with it in the opposite direction. Notice that if I drag the handle in the top left corner upward, the handle in the bottom left corner moves down. Go to the Edit menu, and choose Undo, or by pressing Ctrl+Z. This will undo the last step but will still keep in Perspective mode. To make the text look like it's tilting backwards, I'll click on the same handle in the top left, but this time, I'll drag it inward towards the right. And because we're in Perspective mode, the opposite handle in the top right moves inward as well. Stretch the text vertically so it takes up more space along the bottom. To do that, we need to switch from the perspective command to the scale command. You can quickly switch between transform commands by right-clicking anywhere inside the document and choosing a different option from the list. I'll choose scale. To close out the transform command, press enter. Change the blend mode of the smart object from normal to overlay. This blends the text in with the image. Add outer glow to the text by clicking the layer styles icon and choosing outer glow. In the layer style dialog box, change the blend mode to screen, opacity to 50%. In the elements, change the size to 60 pixel. Click the color swatch to change the color of the glow. Then I move my mouse cursor into the image and click on a blue color to select it. Click OK. To save the document, go to the File menu and click Save.